At this time, we'll call the Tuesday, May 24th, 2022 meeting of the Jackson County Board of Supervisors to order. Larry McDevitt, Mike Steinus, and myself, Jack Willie, are your supervisors. We have Lisa Smith and Bjorn from the auditor's office, and Luann Goki from a wonderful, exciting weekend babysitting with her grandson. Is back on duty this morning. And the first item on our agenda is David Dreyer, Jackson County Engineer.
Good morning. Good
Good
morning.
morning.
It's one permit for you today, a residential entrance permit for Robert Benson on 248th Avenue in Prairie Springs Township, section 16 on the west side of the road. Used by Roger, and we recommend approval.
Second. It's been moved and seconded to approve Robert Benson's entrance residential driveway permit. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion carried. That did it, huh?
That's it.
Short and sweet.
In case someone gets a best permit. Okay.
Oh. Well, Lisa, do you want to do your thing or?
I certainly can. So this morning, I need a motion to approve the minutes of the May 17th, 2022 board proceedings as written by Auditor Smith and authorized publication in the official newspapers.
So moved. Second.
A motion and a second to approve the meeting minutes of the previous meeting. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion carried.
Motion needed to approve and authorize the auditor's office to issue warrants in the publication of the claims listing in the amount of $845,278.70.
Probably needs to be a little explanation.
Yeah.
Well, the good news and the bad news is probably all the same, is this is the first start of the transfer of money from Jackson County to the mental health region. Today, we are transferring $500,000, and we are in discussions and visits with the Scott County office to have them pay all claims now for the mental health. So today, we're transferring this $500,000. We still do have a couple of $100,000 left. We are looking at any warrants that haven't come through yet, haven't cleared. So I would anticipate within the next couple of weeks, we'll have another couple of $100,000 in claims to come through. So it looks to me like there's a lot of rock, there's some fuel, there's
Yeah.
all kinds of good things happening in Jackson County. I guess when we spend money, we know that we're working. So that's the,
Yeah, I think
Things are getting done, yeah.
yep,
Good
Yeah.
thing.
I mean, that's all part of the new statewide as far as returning the money back to
everybody's going through it. Yeah,
the region.
yep.
Would make a motion to approve the claims as presented.
Second.
A motion like a second to approve the claims. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye,
Aye, motion carried.
I'm sorry. That little invoice that we talked about, was that is this the correct number or should we?
We took that out.
Okay,
Yep, no, I clarified before I came over
we
today.
had a small Andrew Jackson.
You know what, and again, you know, maybe small, we also pay the bills, as everybody knows, we pay the bills for the Andrew Jackson Care Facility, and part of that was a $5,000 claim or a bill for the sprinkler system that got paid. We've notified the company that any correspondence from here on out needs to be directed to the county, not to either through Andrew Jackson Care or through Imagine the Possibilities, right?
And I had a good conversation with Jared and with Todd about the invoice, and we thought maybe there might have been some issues with maintenance, and he clarified all them issues, a little different story than what we had heard before. So, and then part of that small bill was an inspection that he agreed it was his to pay for, so we
Yep.
took it back out of
Yep. So yes, this is the correct amount.
There was another bill in there that was double. It was for $620 and it was in there twice. And it was the same date for both of them. Is that some misprint or
Do you
for lawn
know?
mowing or something like that?
Under Jackson County, under the care
That's
facility.
probably for Rodney Headings.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah,
that was,
there's
there
always
was
two.
two of them for one more year.
Rodney and Roger.
Right.
Yeah.
It's the two
Brothers.
brothers and we have to split that bill.
Oh, the names are different.
Yeah.
Okay, I
Yeah,
didn't catch that part of it.
It's for,
Just the first name.
it's for
yes.
Pioneer Cemetery mowing. So
It
when that
just
bill
surprised
comes
me if they're
in,
both the same.
we need,
on the
for
same
tax
date.
purposes, we need to make sure that we send to both of them
Okay.
instead of together. So that's why.
That makes sense.
Yep. Oh, yeah.
Thank you.
I also need a motion to approve the renewal of a Class C liquor license with outdoor service for the Bellevue Horsemen's Club at 25-121 297th Avenue, Bellevue, effective June 1st, 2022 through December 1st, 2022.
Motion to approve.
I would second.
I have a motion and a second to approve the Class C liquor license for the Bellevue Horsemen's Club. All those in favor?
Aye.
All right.
Aye, motion carried.
And my last item on my agenda for today is we're almost through 11 months of our budget. We have one more month left. This is where we take a look at everybody's budget to see if we're okay within the budget, within the service areas and such. And we believe that we will need to be making a couple of budget amendments. So today I would need a motion to set a public hearing for the fiscal 2022 budget amendment hearing on June 4th, 2022 at 10 a.m.
June 14th.
14th, what did I say?
Fourth.
Oh, well, you know, yeah, 14th.
Well, within them 10 days, yeah.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
can't even read my own minutes here. So, yeah, we'll be bringing in a couple of adjustments that we need to make.
Okay, motion to approve.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to set the budget amendment hearing on June 14th at 10 a.m. All those in favor?
All right.
Aye, motion carried.
That's all that I have for the board today. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, Luann, do you want to do your thing?
Okay.
This time we'll be joined by Luann Goki, our executive assistant.
Good morning. Okay, calendar for this week. Tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. is a community health needs assessment. It's the brain health discussion. Jack, you know what this is. It's over at Penrose.
Mhm.
And so that's for Jack. At 1 p.m. is the Isaac Wind Energy Conversion Property Webinar by Zoom for any of you that want to attend that. At 6:30 is the Together We Build meeting for Jack. And is that the celebration meeting, Jack?
Mhm.
So he just sent a message today, but it goes out to all three of you, the invitation, correct?
Yep.
Okay. And
And that's
spouses
a
or,
brewery?
Yeah, they're having a dinner and
Yeah, I
they're.
thought I seen that.
Oh, okay.
so just make sure you RSVP.
RSVP,
So that
so
they know
we-
your
Oh.
account.
And you can do that down to extension office,
Okay,
Amber, or
Amber.
anybody that's down there.
I think we have a concert at Codfish Hollow that night, so probably can't.
Okay,
On Wednesday night, that concert.
Sometimes. There's one this Wednesday and I think there's one Friday and Saturday night.
Okay.
There's also a community input event in Bellevue that night too, so I may attend that.
it's been crazy busy around here. It has a lot of stuff going on. Thursday, May 26th at 9 a.m. is the RPA meeting in Dubuque, so far as I know, for Jack and Larry. Friday, May 27th at 7 a.m. is a Macokota Leadership Team meeting for Larry. Monday, May 30th, the courthouse will be closed for Memorial Day. And our next regular meeting will be Tuesday, May 31st at 9 a.m. First bit of business I have today is a memorandum of understanding, which you should all have a copy of in your packets. So I'm looking for approval of that, and I'm not even sure how to explain that. Can you explain it, Lisa?
Part of the, this process of transitioning from the county to state funds, as I just said a little while ago, we're transferring this $500,000. But Lynn is our CPC here in Jackson County, and she will continue to be our county employee. So this memorandum of understanding is an agreement between all 5 counties. It's been reviewed by all county attorneys. Yes, okay. And this basically is just saying how we're going to do this process, what we're going to pay for, what we're going to get reimbursed for. That's what this document is all about. And all 5 counties will be having it presented to them and looking for their approval.
And if we talked about it for months
Yeah.
at our meetings.
Okay, so you're under the understanding that each county is okay with, I mean,
Yes.
are we the first to approve it or we?
No, I think some of them did it last
Okay.
week.
And probably in Clinton County, maybe they even did it yesterday at their meeting, so.
So we pay your salary and then they reimburse us. an amount.
Salary and.
Or do they pay us
and-
ahead of time?
No.
No.
They
They
reimburse
pay
behind.
quarterly.
Quarterly, okay.
Yep, so Lynn is still our employee. She's a Jackson County employee. She will not be a region employee. And that pretty well spells this out, this MOU.
But it also pays part of Brianna's.
Right. It'll
Yeah,
pay a
and-
percentage of that
Correct.
and a percentage of the expense of the utilities and administrative costs.
And in October, they'll do a time study to see, to make sure that these
Mhm.
percentages are correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
And they actually pay for the space too.
A percentage.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, we'll have to figure out all of that
all right.
and come up with.
And you're looking for action, credit says possible, but that means possible action correct.
I think they actually are hoping that it's possible.
I would make
and
a
they will take action.
motion. I would make a motion to approve the memorandum of understanding as presented.
I would second.
A motion and a second to approve the memorandum of understanding with the Eastern Iowa Mental Health Disability Service Region. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion carried.
The other action I have is an application from Brian Peterson of Swingle for a fireworks permit for the 4th of July. And he has gotten permits in the past. So I'm looking for approval of that permit, which is also in your packet.
And motion to approve.
Second.
A motion and a second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
So you can go up to Zwingle and watch fireworks.
So they changed the law on that, the state, which we talked about at our executive board. And I asked a question about what we're doing and they got back to me and said that is okay to do what we are doing. But you can't charge, I don't know, some fine print in there, it makes it not for sure, but they said as long as you're, as a safety feature, you're getting locations and stuff like that, that's not like it's
Well, I think some of the biggest.
selling
thing
it, it's not selling fireworks is what it's.
Right.
Oh, yeah, no.
Some of our concerns is, of course, in this area, is the livestock confinements or anything like that, that would be close to such an action, so it needs to be looked at. On the right page.
Approved?
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Okay, next we have Sarah Davenport, Jackson County Attorney.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. I want to introduce you to my summer intern, Will, if you wanna come on up, Will Davison, who's actually from Macokota. He just finished his 2nd year of law school at the University of Iowa. He'll be working every Tuesday, Thursday, and Fridays, at least in the morning, until the end of July. So I'm kind of showing him around today, and I just wanted to bring him here and introduce him to you guys.
Okay, and you said Will, correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
Welcome aboard.
If we have any special projects, we might have him work on them.
Oh, we might have.
Or a fun group.
That's all. Things do happen around here.
Yeah, but he was sitting in on some conversations. right?
Yeah, see, he's already did my running start today, so.
Appreciate having you. Good
Yes.
luck.
Thank you very much.
Enjoy your summer.
I
Make sure that she doesn't work you too hard, but hard enough.
Yeah. Hopefully we can even get him a jury trial, we'll see.
Oh. Guilty.
All right, thanks.
Good luck.
Yes. Obviously, you probably realize him and Ben are twins.
Well, you get the resemblance, but I didn't know that, so Davison, that.
Yeah.
That's Will and Ben, yeah,
Yep.
okay.
Hmm.
Well, that's a what's the right word? But I mean, he's from town, he knows the area, and
It's good.
should be a good experience.
Absolutely. I guess for now, we'll recess till we're joined by Lori or by Jeannie. Collins hire. She should be here any minute. And this time we'll reconvene the meeting and we're being joined by Jeannie Collins hire, Jackson County Weed Commissioner and on the Jackson County Conservation Board.
Good morning.
Morning. So, you have the integrated roadside vegetation management plan, Lynn said she got you to look over.
Yep.
And there's a sheet in there with signatures, and I guess I have the official copy if you were okay with the plan.
I thought it was.
Well, it all sounds good. Can we do it? That's my question.
1 mile at a time.
Yes, submit it by June 1st, so if they approve the plan, then that leaves us eligible for grants, so.
Well, that was our whole intention when we went into this, and hopefully that works out, and certainly there is some roadsides that need attention.
Yes, there are, you are correct.
So no more mowing before July 15th. I wasn't aware of that.
That's always been that way.
Yeah. For
That's
nesting
to get the
birds,
bird eggs
Oh,
off.
okay, that's all right.
ground nesting birds.
I mean, there's a lot of homeowners that maintain their roadways, I mean, with front of their houses or across the road, or, I mean, you can't.
Quite a few.
You know, the thing that, you know, when I was reading through it, I thought 1,682 miles of roadsides, when you look at both sides.
Yeah.
I was thinking 841 and then, I thought, yeah, it would be double that. So that's a lot of road signs, a lot of miles.
That's like driving to Nashville and back. Seriously. No, it's actually farther than that. Nashville's only 600 so less. Just give you an idea of how far that is. Especially if you're cutting weeds in the ditch alone.
So, can you tell me, Jenny, how long, I mean, will we start implementing this as ASAP, or as far as we can get funding for, or,
Yep,
I mean, do we have personnel and whatnot to?
I think it's all kind of a work in progress
Yeah.
as we go along.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
Do what you can and.
Yep.
Yeah.
We'll get to. So.
Funding
I mean, if we
equipment
can,
and things
in
like that.
conjunction maybe with secondary roads, like hopefully, and,
Yep.
you know, that's a good way to attack it, I think, probably, and.
We work with we pick a new engineer and then
Mm-hmm.
started working with them and go from there.
I guess with that being said, if there's anything else, I'd make a motion to approve the integrated roadside management plan as presented.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the integrated roadside vegetation management plan. All those in favor?
And
Aye. Motion carried.
include the signatures. Aye.
And then I just need signatures.
Speaking of mowing grass, somebody mentioned to me again today about the hospital, but they'll not being mowed yet. Is that? It's
So that
not county property, it's city property now, right? Or did it revert?
No, it transferred to the new owner. So you're
Yeah.
talking about the old hospital, correct?
Yes.
It transferred to the new owner, so it's their responsibility, and it's my understanding that complaints to the city have been
Ignored.
already have been called into the city, and I don't know what the city's intentions are, but
But it's no longer county property, right? It's not on the,
no,
It's
it definitely,
reverted
the
back to the
hospital
city.
transferred the property to the new owners, which is not the city. So it has a new owner.
The trust.
I get that, but isn't,
Got to date it.
it's not part of the county.
Thank you.
anymore.
No,
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 So did it become part of the city then, the property?
no.
I mean, as far as the
it's,
law.
the
within the
location, the
city.
land is in the city limits.
Okay,
Yeah, that was never in the county. I mean, that has always been within the city limits of the city of Macocota. So we had nothing to do with it.
okay. That's-
We never really owned it. The trustees basically took it and they transferred, trustees transferred it to the new buyer, whoever that is.
Right. Right.
Oh, I'm sorry.
She was gonna scan it, so.
You got your sprayer and all that stuff up and running, good.
I do. Yep, we're ready. There was a little work out on our pesticide license and getting that straightened out with the Bureau, so. that's kind of where we're-
And we could look at getting one of the mobile biplanes with the spring racks on it. You could
Everything's
just,
good, but.
you can get both sides of the road at the same time.
Oh, boy.
You know, that last year when I came back from Sioux City, it was pretty cool. They were doing spraying in the ditches. They had 2 4-wheelers with booms
Oh,
and they overlapped each other and they did the ditches.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Their dishes must lay nicer than ours.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
You'd be breaking booms off and stuff like
Right.
that.
Yeah. Well, there was no trees, there was no debris. I mean, it was
Yeah.
just spraying the grass, but
Mhm.
yeah, I mean, there was two 4-wheelers. Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure you're familiar with some of the Jackson or Clinton County's roadsides, and they seem like they must have implemented the program a while ago, because most of them are just grassy. I mean, there's not much brush in that.
I think they had a roadside person in the 90s or.
I think so,
In the
yeah.
90s, early 90s, if not sooner.
Thank you.
All right.
Let's make a
Thank
difference.
Thank you much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Now we're gonna go back to 9:05.
Okay.
And we'll reconvene the meeting. I think last week we tabled any action on the re-roofing at the fairgrounds in the Pearson building. Because we needed to do some research on that. I guess I've talked to Sarah. She gave us 2 options. One, to rebid it. And one, it's very difficult to rebid it because everything is public record.
Yeah.
Everybody knows how much the bids were, everybody knows what the cost of the add-ons were. So her recommendation this morning, when Lisa and I talked to her, was to we could award the bid, but only award the roofing. We could not award anything on the snow or the gutters.
Okay.
If we choose to do those, we would have to rebid those and give all those that had bid before the opportunity to bid to do the gutters and the snow.
Okay.
So I guess my question is, what did the RFP state? Did it state that there was an option to put the snow guard and the gutters on, or was it just for the roof and the insulation and da-da-da, and the type of
It
material?
was a roof and 2 options on the roof, 15-year roof and a 20-year roof.
Right,
Some did both, some just did the 20.
okay, but there was nothing in the RFP regarding the snow guard.
And there was nothing in the RFP about
Not gutters either. That,
about the
So,
thickness of the
so
material.
some of the bidders actually just put that in there as their own option.
yeah, one of them called me and says, hey, you should possibly put some ice guard on it. I says, well, that's not in the RFP, but if you want to put a separate bid in there, go ahead and do it. And I had 2 of them do that.
And all of the bidders had that option to do that? I guess I'm agreeing with you, Jack. I don't think we could approve that if it wasn't in the RFP. And to move forward, do we need to rebid the ice guard and the gutters if we decide to do that?
If
or
we,
is
if
that-
we decide to do that, we would have to rebid that.
Or is that in the threshold of our procurement policy that we can just award that?
That's, I guess I'm gonna say what so many people say, that's above my pay grade.
Yeah. I think it's below the 250 procurement, but I think it's our procurement at 250, correct?
Yeah.
I guess probably the right way would be to do it is rebid the gutters and the ice guard.
Yeah, I'm in agreement with that, but
But it also makes sense to me that I would think it would come to reason that the guys putting the roof on would have he's there and it would be easier for him to put the ice guard on. or
As
could
he
do
went
it
along,
As it would be cheaper to do that.
we certainly wouldn't want somebody going up there and if they didn't get it, damaging the roof as they're redoing some of that stuff. That's
So-
the concern I have.
I guess with that being said, can we award it as it was bid for the new roof? And then bid the ice guard. I'm not concerned as much as the gutters, I thought at one time somebody said they were okay. Did we,
I haven't gone up and actually looked at them. I can see some rust here and there. That could possibly be cleaned up and painted.
I can certainly see that the ice guard is probably
As a necessity.
above the doors anyway. I mean,
Yeah.
above the doors.
Well, I guess I wonder if it's a necessity why it wasn't in the bid.
You know, again, yeah,
You know, I looked down at the Onward Center and there, I don't think that has.
Or no ice guard.
Yeah, no ice.
there's very few, and I don't know this material, but there's very few steel roofs that does not have ice guard now.
Yeah, and this would be as every bit as slippery as steel.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean, it feels like it had a texture that would be a little rough. I mean, I know even the steel, they make a rough surface steel that they don't put ice guards on.
Oh, well, maybe.
It's kind of
an
an
issue then.
It's a little rough, you know, and they claim they don't need it.
I've got natural slate on my roof and that has some texture to it, but on
Oh,
certain
I'm getting
occasions.
snow. Trying to call
She's
Sarah.
there. Ask, just say her name.
Sarah? Sarah,
Yeah, she may not, she's not in her office then.
no, it's just like real crackly.
Right, yep. She's got it on speakerphone. Yeah,
Oh.
that's why you just have to say her name.
Well, the light isn't lit.
No, but it would, you can set that up so
Yeah.
that when you call, it doesn't ring, you just hear them.
Okay, probably still taking Will around.
That would be my guess.
So, I mean, we have questions for her before we move forward here?
Depends on what
I,
you want to
I
do.
would, I'm okay with approving the roof so they can be
We get
prepared
started
and
on that, yeah.
and go ahead and doing it, but I also want this bid for the snow guard to be done quickly. So that if they can do it while they're putting the roof on, if they're the low bid, they can
Well,
do it.
that's what I wanted her to answer
Yeah,
that
I
question.
agree with you.
Do you know how soon that Beckwith was the apparent low bidder? If you award the bid to them today, do you know how soon they can get started?
I think it's gonna be after the fair.
So my suggestion.
Is that because we suggested after the fair?
You would have time to bid that portion.
All I know is Lanny said there was no reason they couldn't come before the fair as long as they were done by the fair.
I'm just saying, I mean, if that going with your thought process, I would say that you would have time to bid whatever out before they started. So you would have the roof already bid. You could, whatever you choose to do next, you could do at the same time.
Do you want to take a recess and see if we
Yeah.
can find her?
Okay, now we're back to talking about the roof at the Pearson Center. We've had some discussion with the county attorney about the bids, and so I think at this point, we're ready to take action.
So I would make a motion to accept the low bid from Beckworth for the roof with the Duralast roofing system for the base bid of $238. Correct me if my numbers are wrong, $238,519, with the option of $10,000 for the 20-year roof. That was in RFP for that option to be a total of $248,519, and to also include the option for the ice guard for $31,286 for a total bid of $279,805.
I would second that.
With a motion and a second to accept the bid from Beckwith. Any further discussion? Anything else from you, Sarah?
I guess just want to make it clear that the reason we're accepting these additional options is that even if we were to rebid, his is still significantly lower with those additions than the other bids, correct?
Correct. Yeah.
Which is the best deal for Jackson County.
And there was one other participant that did bid the ice garden, and it was significantly higher. So we know whether,
And two of the bids included the higher mill already,
yes,
the higher, thicker,
Yes.
thicker material.
Okay, all those in favor?
I,
Aye, motion carried. Thank you, Sarah.
thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. This time, we're welcoming Sarah here, Lori Rowley to the boardroom to give a zoning administrators department update.
Good morning.
It was to tenure my resignation.
What did I say about that?
we've had a couple of those already. You know, let's go for at least 2 more weeks.
Okay. I was kidding, Jack. Okay.
Yeah,
So
that's good.
right now.
I had a comment for that, but I.
From everything I've heard, you've been very busy.
Thank you. I have, and I just feel like I'm not getting anything accomplished. Some of the things, of course, you've probably heard, Nita Hill Valley's been an issue with people wanting variances and setbacks to put up their new seasonal dwelling, their new cabin that's not quite what most of us looked at a cabin for 50 years ago, but so we're working on that. All kinds of stuff going on up north of Bellevue. Depends on what subdivision you're looking at, what's going on up there. Some of the questions I've been getting, it seems like wind turbines, solar and cell towers are something that's really not addressed well in our ordinance. I don't believe wind is addressed at all. So wind turbines,
Like turbines.
yeah, so we've been trying to cover that, those new builds under the cell tower. Part of that, just because it's erected on a pole. I looked back, let's go to cell towers real quick. I looked back because I had a lady call from a cellular company. They're looking at replacing antennas, coax. What else on that? Taking out the old ones and adding, replacing them and then adding.
Internet or Wi-Fi, except on those towers.
I'm not real sure, what they're, just I knew it was antennas and antenna panels. But they're looking at, and then adding a couple extra, well, reading what we have, and then also knowing what they need in the assessor's office. Nothing is needed in the assessor's office anymore because the Iowa code just recently changed to where they don't have to assess anything but the tower, the fence, and the equipment building. So I did look, and in the past, they were issuing permits to replace antennas and coax. Well, the way it looks, the way I understand it, they're not changing the footprint, they're not changing the height. Just like on a house, you're changing your roof, you're changing your windows, you're not changing anything else. It doesn't look like we should be requiring a permit to replace out parts on cell towers, but we were in the past. So
That's kind of, yeah, I mean, my opinion on that is, again, I agree with you, we're not changing. If they were changing the wire that's going up, they're not changing a thing.
They're not
If they're
changing the height
changing,
or the-
if they're changing dishes on there, of course, that's their,
that's a
it's
question.
no different than our 911 thing, that's their duty to see if that tower is structurally sound for that, for one thing. And in the contract, most of the time with the landowner, and I had one of these previously, it's negotiable with the tower owner. So these people like US Cellular don't really own these towers, they rent them. So I don't see where that's an issue either of ours, is if they're changing, if they're putting another dish up there, they have to know that it's structurally sound for it. And we have parameters as far as fall distances and things like that, so.
Mhm.
So at 1 o'clock today, Isaac Wind Energy Conversion Property Webinar.
Oh, yeah, I'll get to that
That's
in my
more-
spare time.
That's more
Well,
on
you
the-
know what that is,
Yeah,
that's just putting them
but I
longer
should.
blades on them
Yeah, but
turbines.
that'll give you a little background on what
Yeah.
the state's doing. So,
I'll ask you to send me that email.
go ahead.
I think I did.
Thank
I will
you.
send
Yeah.
Do I already
something
have
at
it?
the top. I
Yeah.
will send it.
I mean, we've talked to, even out at ISAC,
Yeah.
we've talked to some of these
Yeah.
people that, and Delaware County's full.
Yeah.
If you want information up there, and they went through this whole process
Yeah.
about
But we need
What?
to add,
40% taxation, and then they went to this, and then they went to that. And then, all of a sudden they're changing the blade, so they're increasing the production on these, and it's a mess.
Mhm. Yeah, and some of that is dictated by code, and I know that, I don't know if they're still, how they're valuing those, or if they're trying to get them centrally assessed. I don't know what they're trying to do with those. I'm glad we didn't have any, but some of these,
What
what
you're
we're
talking
dealing
about
with
is a
are
real
personal.
smaller scale.
Right.
Like an
Right.
80-foot tower or something. I
Right.
mean, there's structures out there.
Right, so we're just using, the cell tower because they're, type of parameters on that. Gonna use the fall zone for, for that, so that it's clear. And that type of stuff.
That's really odd to me, as being in the cyber business for 40 years, but we never had to have a permit, and they're 80, 90 feet tall, and
Yeah, you weren't necessarily 100 feet back from the house on your 100-foot
No.
settle either.
no,
Mhm,
Mm.
mhm.
not at all.
But that's why our ordinance is currently written with the cell towers. So I didn't know if at some point, we might want to revisit how we're doing cell towers
Sure.
and, okay, now
Yeah,
let's,
they look at a fall zone too.
Yes.
Mhm. yeah, so that's how we're doing, but, and then, like I said, are you guys, I know someone mentioned, it's like, well, if they can get a permit for that, to add the stuff to the tower, that's income. I'm like, no, this isn't what this is gonna be about. And it's like, well, it's a revenue stream for the county. I'm like, no, I'm not going there. So, so I don't think we need to go forward with the past protocol of making them get permits for adding equipment. Do you guys agree with that?
Yeah, I
I
don't.
do.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm sure if they're putting equipment on it, they're gonna make sure the tower's
And you have talked to
good
Sarah
enough so it
about this.
doesn't fall
too.
down.
I've ran some stuff by her and we kind of talked a little more though about updating the nuisance ordinance.
Mhm.
And I can kind of bring you up to date on some of the stuff that I'm dealing with on that. But solar. So if someone's getting a ground array, they have to get a permit because they're changing,
Landscape.
because they're adding a structure to the ground. So, and I've seen tons of those. I've seen a few, but not everybody's getting a permit for a roof array, which I agree with. So you're not changing, you're not doing anything to that building. You're not changing the footprint of that building. So, I don't think, we can require that, although, and they can be found other ways, but although, solar arrays are accessible as far as taxable.
Mhm.
Right now, they're being identified, but not valued. But, we're losing a mechanism to be able to track that new construction.
Without a permit for that, you mean, yeah,
But, but really they don't need one,
yeah.
but they're getting the ground arrays. So I guess we're just gonna have to be more diligent in other ways of trying to find those.
Well,
It'd be
I
kinda
guess
like
that's
the
where
remodels.
maybe our pictometry or some of that stuff comes into
Absolutely.
play, and yeah,
Absolutely,
yeah, or even visuals when we're,
when we're
I
out.
guess we're all responsible.
When we're out and
for some.
about.
Mhm, yeah, and just, adding a note for them to take a look at it. And, add it to their notes, because
Mhm.
basically they're counting the arrays and estimating, or if they're ground arrays, they can get a picture of the kilowatts or watts of
Sure.
what they're putting out. So,
I only have a question. So if we think about our neighboring Clinton County and what they're going through with their 1,500-acre solar array farm,
And grandma.
can someone do that in Jackson County right now?
they have to
could-
probably get a
You'd have to
variance.
apply for it and go through us, just like they're doing, I would say.
So we have the mechanism that somebody couldn't just come in tomorrow and start setting up
Build
a
it.
solar array farm.
I would hope that, I'm not good enough to know. You guys understand the building codes here and are the,
Well, like
Here
you
in the
just
county
said,
better
though,
than
if
I
you're
do
gonna
right
put
now.
up a ground solar array, you have to get it.
yeah, well, you're adding, yeah, unless they could get ag exemption, I don't know.
Well, I would say there's also a legal
No,
battle
it
there
would be.
because that's.
Well,
I mean, I can see ag
'Cause it'd be
exemption,
commercial.
that's just for the farm, but
Right.
not when you're
I know.
selling.
Yeah.
There's a lot of contention.
Mega
So,
Oh,
but I
there's
think this
signs
week they're
all
gonna
over
make
the
a
place,
decision,
yeah.
aren't
Oh, yeah.
they? I think,
Yeah.
didn't they
The way
have?
the
It's on the
paper
ballot,
is.
it's on the ballot for vote,
But it might be something, you know,
I think.
all
so.
of that might be something where we look, you know, look at honing stuff down. And also, I don't know what we do about like hog confinements and stuff like that. So I have to understand that a little better too. So nuisances, right now we have we had 3 that Becky sent out in May 3rd. One of them has been remedying the situation that was out of the golf course. You probably got phone calls on the smoke.
Oh my God, yeah.
Okay, so they're, you know, we're remedying that. So their remediation caused another nuisance complaint, but I'm like, you know, we really don't want to act on that because we notify them certified and then they have 31 days to address it anyway. And I did check to make sure it was a control burn that was called in, so it was. So anyway, that's being remedied. The other 2, one was a nuisance up on Highway 52. The response to that certified letter at this point. Same thing with one out in Leisure Lake that was a bunch of tires and just icky stuff. 2 new ones that are, one that came in officially, and I called the complainant and talked to her about it. And that's about, and you guys, because this all comes back onto you, if my understanding is right, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, so I haven't reached out to her neighbor yet, and I'm trying to decide if, you know, sometimes a phone call might be the thing to do, you know, and then do the certified letter. There's a long history with these 2 neighbors. I did check on calls for service, and I think there's even assault charges between neighbors there, but the one neighbor has these huge LED lights pointing at the neighbor's house, like 5 of them at the house where these people cannot sleep, they cannot use their backyard. So I'm trying to, you know, how do we address this? So you send him a certified letter, he doesn't respond, you know, doesn't accept the certification. Or if he does, he has 31 days, so he still has 31 more days to continue harassing his neighbors. It doesn't sound that there's anything the law office can do about it. And Leisure Lake Property Owners Association has refused to do anything according to the complainant. And I have reached out to Leisure Lake Property Owners Association and then not gotten a response, but I'm going to follow up again today.
I would get a hold of their bylaws or their covenants and read through it and see what's in there.
What's the gentleman's name that's on the board up there that we talked to when we were talking to about the pavilion?
Oh, what was his name?
I know Larry, you talked to him. Met with him.
I got it on my phone.
Well, you could find that for her. Maybe you can give him that name and I would, but there's no legal ramifications as far as the quality of life or a nuisance as far as harassment.
For law enforcement, I don't, yeah, I'm
I
not
mean,
sure
it
they
seems like
want to,
harassment of some kind.
yeah. Yeah, that would be my thought, absolutely. I don't know how that works.
Sounds like
So,
it.
and then I have one, I just got a phone call, Elizabeth had heard from him last week. Sounds like guy put up a basketball court, had those setbacks made. And now the next door neighbor is mad and is placing buckets of fish guts 5 feet away from the property line.
Whole new tricks.
So I think I might just reach out to that neighbor. I do know him a little, I don't have a relationship with him, but I do know him. So I might just reach out to him. Is that something that you guys would allow me to do, or do
Yes.
I? Okay,
I think
You
it's
don't want
much
me to
more
go
reasonable to get the legal ramifications if we don't need to. The phone call can say, and this one on 52 too, I've talked to somebody relation
Okay.
and they're gonna talk to this gentleman. I mean, he's
okay,
reasonable, but again, he's a,
well,
he.
they
lives
haven't
alone.
accepted the certified letter
Yeah.
either.
So,
So
Yeah.
this guy's name is Kurt. I don't have the last name, but the phone number is
Okay.
563-357-8872.
Kurt with a C or K? That's right,
Um,
don't matter.
I put K in here, but I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. All right, so 3578872.
He might be on the plans that had drawn up too. if we still have some plans.
And he's a resident out there?
Yeah.
And was or is on the board?
I think so, yeah.
Okay, all right. So, but yeah, if we can get that resolved before having to send out a notice, that would probably be best case scenario.
Mhm.
I
But
always think a phone call or personal interaction is better than
yeah,
going through the
Well-
initial process if we can alleviate a lot of headaches. you know?
yeah, and I can try to even call that guy out there, but I don't. It's gonna be an interesting phone call, I have a feeling.
Just, yeah, you have
So-
to be careful about that.
Well, if you
Yeah.
feel you need to take an officer with you, do that
Okay,
anytime. Just-
okay. All right, but I think I've
Crazies
covered,
out there.
And, you
excellent.
know, have you had a conversation with Scott Shekel?
I haven't personally, but Elizabeth has. Oh, I do have one more thing. Oh,
Yeah,
yeah,
and I-
Elizabeth.
He called me this morning. He said he'd been talking to Mike about the situation that they have there and how the developer really didn't follow through with some of the stuff he was supposed to do, so. And he's now out of the picture or something, Scott said. and-
Yeah, no, he's not involved with it. His financials are not allowing him to be in the picture, but we had a conversation with county attorney this morning and Elizabeth, public health. And again, some of that's confidential yet, but they're visiting with him this afternoon and
Good.
trying to remedy the situation.
Okay, there was one other thing I noticed I have on my list. Our building permits or zoning permits have a 1 year shelf life. So they expire after 1 year. Do you guys know, was there actually ever a tracking process to see if those building permits were used? Or make sure that any expired permits were,
Extended.
noted or anything like that? Or if they missed that
We have
1 year?
absolutely no idea.
Okay. Okay,
I guess I would like to see some kind of implementation of a process between offices that when a permit comes in, that the assessor's office of course is notified and it goes through there and that they check on it for assessment purposes.
right. Well, and part of the reason this, raises, red flags for me or just is concern for me. Where I previously worked, they also had a 1 year expiration, but they didn't always review. So, I mean, I'd follow up on something for 2 years or 3 cycles, and it's like, is this expired? Or they get a renewal, just to be able to let the assessor's office know, yeah, cross that one off your list, or don't take that one off your list because they've extended their permit.
Yeah.
So,
Makes sense.
and if I don't know that, I'm not able to share that information.
Right.
So, I didn't know if in the past,
I would
did
say we
Dave
were
or
a little
anybody
lax in
have
that
a?
area.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, this isn't something I'm probably gonna do right away, but
No.
I will work on something with that. Eve, I know one of the things they were doing up there is, and they were busy, so they didn't always have time to double check, but they issued like, I don't know if it was 2 cards or 3 cards. So you issue the card to 3 cards when they got their permit. One, they're supposed to mail back when they break ground. The other, they're supposed to mail back at a certain point, and the other one they mail back at occupancy or completion. So,
It's a good idea.
okay, I mean, I'm not
Well,
sure,
it
but then I
provides a
have to,
checklist of sort to
Yeah,
say where we're
I
at.
mean, we don't really have it in Iowa, but a lot of states have occupancy. I mean, the whole building needs to be inspected before you can move in.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And we issue an occupancy permit at the same time the zoning permit's issued.
Oh.
It's the same form, and I'm like, how can
Yeah,
you
no,
issue an
that-
occupancy permit when it's not even occupied and not
Mhm.
ready? It's not built.
I don't know, one other one, I think it was my cousin in Colorado, they built it, says, oh, we just add another 3 foot to this roof, we can have it upstairs in this garage and make that.
Oh,
Yeah, well, they built it and they had to tear it down to match the plans, that's how strict they are on that.
oh, was that? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. But
I mean,
anyway,
That was in, but it was-
Yeah. it's-
Something you don't do, you
You know,
don't change your
well,
plans.
And I've been hearing from people, well, I've been told it's better to ask for forgiveness and get a permission. And I'm like, I don't do it. So,
So
yeah.
is there any way we can get permits? I mean, there's a lot of farm buildings that just go up. And like the solar thing, even on the roof, isn't there? Even if we don't charge for it, just heads up. Is there
I'm-
something we can do with that?
I'm not sure that legally we can. I'll try to get more information on that
Okay.
and see how others
It's
are.
always been an ag exemption, that's what.
Yeah, but at the same time, I mean, you're missing revenue there.
I get it.
I mean, not that it's all about revenue, because it's not, but it is about equity. So if we're not equitable between, neighbors, that's wrong.
Yeah.
So it's more about creating equity instead of, generating revenue, but you want everything to be fair.
And there should also be a permit when you tear a building down. I mean, my father-in-law's barn burnt down. It was still on the tax rolls.
Well, it's actually the property owner's responsibility to notify
Notify,
the
okay.
assessor's office. Because typically the assessor's office is gonna be looking for new construction.
Mhm.
And it really is the property owner's responsibility to make sure the assessor's office knows.
I would think so.
So anyway, any questions for me? I probably can't answer them, but you can try.
If you need some assistance with some of these nuisances too, if I'm in the area, I could take pictures like I did with some of the other ones when you were gone.
They were really good. I don't know if we're gonna get a picture of the neighbor's fish guts but I do have some great pictures of the light.
I
Man,
would think those would go away at night with all the coon and stuff out there and they scavenger animals.
yeah, I don't know, but the neighbor, that lives in a camper has the big lights.
How childish people are.
I know, right? Yeah,
So another one, I don't know if Elizabeth has talked to you about that, but Green Island. So there's some bad septic systems. There's also some homes that are in the floodplain. I think,
We talked about an active.
yeah,
It was an active nuisance complaint down there. Did it ever get resolved?
so there's,
I think when the fence went up, it kind of went away a little bit.
well, there's FEMA money out there if we want to buy some of them houses out of that floodplain. And a lot of my concept was for the sewer and water or the sewer systems, if we can buy up some of that floodplain, the county ends up having to pay 15% of the cost of whatever it takes. And then we can resell the land. I figure if we can resell that land to some of these other homes that are on the hillside there that don't have room for a septic system, we can solve two problems at the same time.
but then there'd be covenants that they can't build on it. Is that part of
Exactly,
it? Okay.
yeah, but they would be bought out at a reasonable rate, a fair value rate too, and I don't know. Some of those are, yeah, I don't know if you've been down there, but some of those houses are
Not in a
pretty tough.
long time. Even though my husband did tell me if you get a certain complaint on this property, you take the board of supervisors with you, you take the sheriff's office with you, you take everybody, so they're all on the same page at the same time. So that was his word of
Advice.
yeah, he's like, yeah, because it's like, that's been going on too long. So, but yeah, I know you
Yeah,
touched on something
Elizabeth's
before.
gonna take it to the board,
Okay.
and I haven't talked to her since then.
Okay.
That was last week, I think it was last Tuesday, was their meeting or something.
Okay, all right. You done with me?
You're done with us, thanks for the
Yeah.
update. Thanks for the update, if you need
Yes.
anything, let us know.
Okay.
Yeah, if you have any spare time, we can add some things.
Yeah, I'll like tomorrow, I'll be out of the office Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Oh, and I need to learn how to set my voicemail. I might need help. So, yeah, I still got the greeting that nobody works here. It's on there.
Well,
Is
let's
that-
work out
That's
pretty good for
easy,
you.
yeah.
So, yeah, I'll be out of town.
County cell.
She does not.
Nobody works.
Well, that's the basically
I'll
greeting, so,
send you my directions, Lori.
okay, try to do that.
Yeah, just figure it out. You want the email ones
Oh.
too?
Huh?
You got the email figured out?
Oh, I know how to do that one.
Okay.
Yeah.
I will send you-
Well, kind of that's what it's, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Other people are
Yeah. Nobody lives
pinching.
here.
Thank you.
Hey, Marty.
How you doing?
Okay,
Yourself?
this time Marty Hudlik is joining us.
Morning.
Morning.
Just a update on some of the things that my department's been doing. I finally took the snow blade off the lawnmower and put the mower deck on. It was the first time I ever done it. Was different, but I did get it. At the Haycap building where the new parking lot is, I tilled that up. Sowed it to grass seed. I did 3 sides of the new utility shed down where the new jail's going. I didn't do the south side because I figured they're gonna tear that up anyway.
Sure they will.
So I did the rest of it though. When the building was done down there was a bunch of scrap metal and bags of garbage. I took the garbage to the landfill and I took the metal to the Clinton engine.
Historic was saying.
Yeah, yeah, it was just, it was nothing that was good. It was junk, but it was metal. The concrete is poured there, the sewer and water's in, the concrete floor is in, and I think it looks really nice. I think it'll really serve the
Nice
purpose.
building.
It is, it very is.
Everybody's done a really good job.
Yeah.
So your grass is coming up too.
Yeah,
At both places.
yeah. Well, I lucked out. I got that little sprinkle of rain here a couple days in a row, really helps.
Yeah.
The ice machine, we did have it installed, and then the plumber that helped me plumb it, because I didn't want to hook the water lines up because it was that plastic pipe, and I'm not really familiar with that. After we did it, then he realized we should have an air gap in the drain, which is a thing, and the pipe goes on top of it. It doesn't actually touch it. So that if there's something bacteria grows in it, it doesn't come back up. So we did that. And then after we did that, then we realized that when it flushes itself or regenerates itself, so it spits out water or drains water out of it. And if you use the faucet at the same time, it would back up and then run on the floor. So we had to replace the floor drain, which was added on when we put the lounge in, and it was galvanized pipe. And Joel said it was all but that much plugged. So we did that, replaced that. Now it works good. What's that?
Never mind, keep going.
Yeah, I'm surprised how many people use it. I didn't think anybody used it, but a lot of people use ice and water out of that thing.
And it's not even summer yet.
Right. The air conditioner condenser, outside condenser at the Penrose building was leaning. We leveled it back up. I imagine the pad settled a little bit. They told me it ain't a biggie, but we leveled it back up. The concrete on the west side of the building, there used to be a fuel barrel there back in the day, and we dug that out. I don't know if you guys, I know you was, but I don't know if you two guys were around there. Well, the concrete settled there, so all the water that goes down the driveway goes next to the building. These spouts dump there, so they go there. And then it goes down in, and it's coming in on the basement, and it's getting worse and worse and worse. I did take some extra E-spout stuff I had and funneled it around away here, but we're gonna have to, I think we're gonna have to cut some concrete out and get it pulled back up and get it leaning away from the building.
We'll just see that stuff on TV that they drill a hole and then they
The
push
fold,
this mushroom and
Jack
it
it up.
brings it up.
and that might work. It's something, but something it needs to be looked
Is
at.
it the total length of the building, the concrete?
I'm gonna say 20 feet to the northwest of the building.
So it's not something to put fill or clean rock and then go over top and,
Well, we'd have to take the concrete out
okay.
because the concrete's right up next to the building.
Okay,
All right,
so it needs to be built up.
yeah. Needs to be leveled up and tilted away from the building. Or maybe we could get by with moving the gutter, the downspouts on the gutter, so they went around the back of the building and then goes the other way.
Well,
'Cause-
either way, we don't want water running toward the building.
Right, I agree. Like I said, I put temporary downspouts up there just to get water. The care facility, Jared said there's 4 lights that need to be, that are not working there. He got called up there at night. It was dark. What they are is they are the mercury vapor, I think they are. Yeah, mercury vapor. And there's probably as old as the building are. I talked with Mike. We are gonna have a electrician go out and look at them and give us a price on some LEDs to replace them. There's one on the north, one on the pole shed, and one on the west, and one on the south of the building. So the drain field's being worked on, which Mike and I discussed this morning. There may be a little problem there with we may need more fill there. It's where I put the dirt in, it's settled. Would you say it's that much at least?
Yeah.
Mike talked to me, maybe we could get secondary roads up there with a bulldozer, because it's got the big white tracks on it. What do they call it?
Low ground pressure,
Okay,
LGP, low ground pressure dozer.
yes. So
It kind
I
of floats, so we can run it on that.
yeah, and so I talked to Roger. And Roger talked to Dave. Dave says, yeah, you have their permission to do it. So Roger and I went up and looked at it. I showed him what we wanted and he kind of agreed. I want an okay from you guys. What we're gonna do is just blade off that much of it and make it level, and then.
Check.
No, what's the, yeah, John, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, John's gonna go back up and rework it, right?
He tried to mow it yesterday and tried to rework it, and they said there's 3-foot difference. And from one area to the next, he says to do it right, he just can't do it.
Yeah. And he called me and I was there looking at it, and I watched him yesterday mow it with the skid loader, and I knew it wasn't gonna work. It's really rough down in there. So I would like permission to have Roger have one of his guys doze that off, if that's
We
okay
have
with
a
everybody. What?
Secondary roads operator that's
Yes.
pretty good at that.
Yeah, they got like 3 or 4 guys, he said, that could do that.
Just work that out.
Okay, it's okay with you folks? though?
Yeah.
All right, good. I cut the last access hole in the auditor's office so they can actually get up in there, because the way they ran the wires, there was no access after they were done. So we got that done. Ron L. down at Haycap requests permission to install automatic door openers. They will pay for them and they will maintain them. So it would be no expense to the
Go
county.
for it. Tell them that's fine.
Okay, thank you. We cleaned out the storage shed down in the basement for Lisa too. I would have never imagined that there was that much stuff in that room, but she's gonna, I think, double check it, and what they don't want, then we're gonna get, secondary roads may take some of the little cabinets that's got a bunch of little shelves in it to put parts in. They're gonna come up and look at it. Then the rest of it, we're gonna take somewhere, whatever is metal, we'll take either over here or to Junkies, whichever, wherever it goes, it doesn't matter. But it's been in there for 5-6 years and we've never used it.
Are you having another sale for the historical society?
They're having a garage sale.
Any of that stuff work on there or not? Are you gonna be on this?
I would say that each one of us should go down there at any time and take a look at that stuff and make a decision, yeah.
All what I know, back in the day, we used to take stuff to the FFA sale. And we, like 10 desks, we got what, $2 for it.
Yeah.
You know, we spent more hauling it away.
I had one of those too, and somebody bought it for $2, and I could have took it out the junkyard and got 10 for it.
How about the piano? Did you do anything on that?
She crashed and burned when they tore the street out in front of her
Right,
store.
right.
So-
Well, I talked to her and she was gonna come look at it, but she never called me back. But
Yeah, it
I
just
keep
all
getting-
collapsed at the same
I
time.
I keep getting quizzed by Jared up there. He'd like to get rid of them if we ain't doing nothing with them. So,
No, I didn't know somebody else that might take that building.
okay,
I would wait too long.
No, I don't either.
I mean, middle of
let me
June,
know.
middle
You know,
of
the
June,
other
they should be
thing
gone.
is, what should we do with all of the filing cabinets that are up there?
There's about 30 of them up there.
Them, you could probably put on the social media or something if you wanted to, and probably get rid of them, but I mean, are there keys to them?
Some, yes. Because we had to unlock them all.
I wouldn't throw them, I guess, but if somebody got a use for them.
I'll talk to Bonnie because they were looking at
So
getting
we-
some additional.
We give her 2 of them.
Well, we gave the Pioneer
just do
Cemetery
it, or-
Commission is what we did. I was working with the Pioneer Cemetery Commission and at first they were gonna come here, we were going to give them space, but they felt that they would be better served over at the Clinton Engines building. So they came back, they talked to me, we supplied them with 2 legal file cabinets. And we gave them a whole bunch of hanging file folders. They were liking them. We had a surplus. So, we've got that all taken care of also. So
So do we send out a department type leave of conservation? They got use for any of that kind of stuff or anybody?
well, that's part of the problem that was in the basement is there's this
Yeah.
glut of equipment and
Been there forever.
we're in the process of putting stuff back into that, what we call the junk room. We're gonna have to rename it because it no longer is gonna be junk. But, you know, it takes time. And I took a gentleman down this morning. We're talking about doing this mass project here with digitizing. So they've at least got a place to work. They're gonna be digitizing some of these old records. So we know that that room is not gonna be called the junk room anymore. We're not going to have it. It's cleaned up. We're not done yet. Kind of got to do this thing called the June primary first. So after that's over, then we'll get back at it.
No, I would say, I mean, you could probably go on, ask departments if they want any of them file cabinets. If not, I would make them available. Maybe can we do we have other than our county site? A Facebook page or anything? I don't know that.
I do not. All we have is our website.
And I don't know if you can put them on there or even go over to KMAQ and say, if you're interested, call us or something. I
Yeah.
don't know. I would say they're good enough that you shouldn't toss them. that's all.
Right, I agree.
I agree.
Somebody will want 'em.
But the piano and the organ, now that's a different story to me. We've been trying to get rid of that
I'm
for 3
pretty
years.
much, I'm pretty sure that by now they are beyond repair because they've been outside in the wet, or not outside, but out.
You're close enough to the landfill there, that's making.
Give me a time, and if I don't hear back from them, we'll get rid of it. Couple weeks?
Yeah.
Okay,
Legit.
okay. And the last thing is, I turned the water on for the cattle up there. And I think someday we ought to look into having somebody go around, take the evergreen tree, that's a brand new fence all the way around that pasture. And the evergreen trees are growing up through it, they're getting big and they're breaking the wires. I think somebody ought to either spray them and kill them or cut them and take them out. Cause I noticed the guy renting the ground is farming like this around it. You know,
I would tend to agree. Who's on the other side? Do we own both sides of the fence?
yes,
Okay.
yes, we do.
I mean,
Well,
I'm just-
maybe, and I don't know this because I haven't been way back
To the
in there.
back, you know, I agree,
Yeah.
but otherwise it's a half and half thing probably.
Yeah,
But I would agree, we need somebody to do that.
yeah, because it's really starting to take a toll on the fence and that fence isn't very old.
No,
No, it's
I
not.
agree 100%.
Yeah.
I mean, even if we have to spray them and then.
Yeah.
Catch up with it.
Well, either that or just go along and cut them off and let them die so they don't grow any bigger would be the first thing I do,
Right.
you know, so. Anything else?
Good.
That's it.
Maybe. Let's finalize what we're gonna do with the parking lot situation at the Goodnow Field, the north parking lot. Larry and I, last week after together, we built groundbreaking. We went out, we took a look. Larry, you went back, you kind of. I'll
I
say-
measured it as 324 feet. I did talk to Pam through conservation. She was gonna get me and Hammett. We've had some, like the Papke property, we do the parking lots, they put post up and cables around. Hire's been doing that. Hire, or maybe somebody else. She had a couple of minutes. I have not got any information from her, but I can call her today. and I'll
So
find out.
the question is who should do this and who should pay for it? You know, as a county, as a fair board, or as the city? I don't know who's doing, but there was what are railroad ties, 6x6 or 8x8?
8 by 10, something like that.
They pushed it so they could drive through. So you know what, we need to do something. Marty, I would suggest, not that I'm your boss, but I would suggest that maybe we put that cable up on the other end by the Haycamp building.
The problem is, where would a guy get big cable like that? You know, it's that big around.
Maybe we need to see how much it is.
Yeah.
first, what's the way
I'll check
prices
in
are.
on it.
How about you, I guess at least if we can get people, but in visiting with the one that was mowing the lawn at the fairgrounds, he has the same concerns that we have about the safety of children. Yeah.
There for a while was a beaten path from that parking lot to the west side of the Haycap building.
He
So
had
I think
a
even-
side by side and a pickup and some other kind of SUV.
So
Those are
I
using
think
it on a regular
even
basis.
Fastenal will have cable that I
Okay.
used to get fairly good sized cable like from some of them or the boat companies. Maybe even secondary road would have an outlet. You
Okay.
know, they use cable for these guardrail stuff.
We're gonna need a few posts, like there at the Haycap building, all them posts are fairly rotten.
They are
How expensive is that guardrail they got out here at
bullocks.
South of town?
Yeah.
I don't know,
Bullocks.
don't know.
You want to call Becky?
And it might be a way to look at it. too.
Guardrail might be the way to look.
Yeah, you know, I would leave a little
Can't take
walk
it down.
path, but not big enough so a vehicle could get through it. You know?
Jack thinks it is.
Right, right,
All right, thanks.
I agree.
Well, we
Okay.
just, before somebody gets hurt, that's.
You know,
really
I would
where
look
we're at.
into, you know,
Absolutely.
where do all these, all these agricultural guys are buying all these guardrail from? Is it out in Anamosa, that outfit out there, or where? is
I
it?
have no idea. I only got 4 cows, so I don't need it.
I think if you Google use guardrail, you're gonna get all kinds of answers, but
Well, I know, Bullocks down here have it.
yeah, no,
I
that's
would
a
ask
great
for-
I
idea.
ain't so sure Tyson doesn't have it too. I will ask, they might have some we could use.
I mean, is that an expense that we want to do ourselves? I guess that's the question.
Well, I
Do we
think
wanna-
it's our property, even if it's a fair, it's a county property.
I mean,
I
if
think
if
we
they
need
do
to
it, we're gonna pay for it anyway, so why don't we just do it?
So let's just get it done.
Yeah, it's just,
And one last thing, when I was up with Roger, I see the plumber was up there and he's fixing the gas leak on the boiler at the care facility. The valve down here was leaking and an elbow up here was leaking. So he's gonna take it all apart. He'll get a new valve. I think he said he was gonna use the old elbow because it was just needed fixed. And then one of the air conditioning units wasn't working and Jared thought it was plugged, but it had a second valve on it and it was just a screwdriver valve. And he didn't see it, so he turned it on. So it's working now too. All right,
Yep.
okay. Thank you. Have a good week.
Monday.
Well, you know, at about 10 to 2, I thought about you. I know.
this time we're being joined by Becky Chapin, our human resource person for the county.
Good morning.
Did you change something in here from the one you sent?
No, I didn't know if everybody had a chance to read
Okay.
it, so I thought I'd just give you a quick copy of that. The first thing you have on top there is the interim agreement for sharing engineer services with Clinton County. So with the resignation of our county engineer, we had discussed the option of sharing again once with Clinton County, Todd Kenny, their county engineer. Their board met yesterday and they did approve the attached agreement that you have there. This would be for a 3-month stint. Last time we kind of secured them for 6 months. They would like us to go ahead and advertise for the position. And Todd and I are going to get together a little bit later to kind of discuss the potential of sharing again. But for now, they're willing to give us a 3-month agreement through, excuse me, August 31st. We would reimburse them at a rate of $90.34 per hour plus mileage when he comes here. So this agreement is identical to the agreement we had with them last time, with the exception of the change in hourly rate. And I did bring a copy of last time, so if anybody wants to see that. I guess if
What was
it's
the hourly rate from us?
$77.95. Yeah, 77.95 plus the 58 cents a mile. So if it is the wishes of the board to enter into the agreement with Clinton County, again, I would ask for a motion to approve the joint agreement between Clinton County and Jackson County for interim services and coverage as presented, and authorize board signature upon the original receipt of the agreements from Clinton County. Todd had 2 copies signed yesterday, which he dropped in the mail to us. So if you want to if you want to approve the agreement today, you have an exact copy of what they signed. You can authorize yourselves to sign the originals when they come in, and we can return them to them.
I would make a motion to approve.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the contract. All those in favor? Aye, motion carried.
Next, it is also a requirement of the DOT that we have a resolution passed authorizing the Clinton County engineer to accept all farm to market and state and federal aid construction projects on behalf of the Jackson County Board of Supervisors. This resolution is drafted by the DOT and it's the exact same as what we approved last time in the interim. So I would ask for a motion to approve resolution 896-0524-2022, authorizing the Clinton County engineer to accept all farm to market and federal and state aid construction projects on behalf of the Jackson County Board of Supervisors beginning June 3rd, 2022, as presented.
So moved.
Motion and a second to approve the resolution as presented. All those in favor? Aye, motion carried.
And then I would also ask for a motion to approve the public notice seeking candidates to fill the vacancy. This has been drafted without a set salary range, which would open the opportunity for any individual interested in the position or county interested in sharing with us to submit a salary requirement for the position. So I would ask for a motion to approve the public notice seeking candidates and to authorize myself to begin advertising for the vacancy.
Motion to approve.
Second.
A motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion carried.
Cleaning services for Jackson County. We had talked a little bit about the retirement of our part-time janitor and where to go with the position. I did reach out to all other departments and it is widely preferred that we not use a cleaning service, that we actually re-employ somebody to fill that position. I tend to agree after speaking with some of the departments about the needs that they would have in having cleaning needs met. I would recommend advertising for the position, cleaning only, like a custodian cleaning person, not a janitor that is helping do other things, and see if that can resolve some of the cleaning issues, the timing issues that we need to have things cleaned here. With that, however, I would also recommend, based on comparables around surrounding counties, we currently pay our part-time janitor $11.68. I would recommend advertising at a salary or an hourly rate between $14 and $15.50 based on experience and qualifications. The plan would be to have the person continue to work the 5:30 to 9:30. But last time we did go into interviewing them with a little bit of flexibility. With a little bit of flexibility, depending on the interest of the applicant and the needs of the offices.
So hourly, he comes in because he needs to complete things from 5:30 to earlier, or would you rather have him here during the day? What are we saying?
Lisa,
Preference?
Oh, I'm sorry. My preference would not be to, I mean, we need both. That's the problem. I don't think that working from 5:30 to 9:30 meets all of our needs. I think are you looking for just a 20-hour-a-week person? Yes.
that would be the goal, to replace.
So that means that 3 hours before employees are here, this person is working, and only 1 hour while people are here, and to get into offices and to clean and,
So the feedback I got from departments is if we employed somebody, they would prefer their offices to be cleaned outside of them being in
Here.
their office. We talked about a wide range of things of not having somebody here in the afternoon.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what works best for each department. I don't know that 5:30 has to be it, but I mean, even 6:30, 10:30, that gives some flexibility of both. I mean, bathrooms and common areas could be cleaned, I would think, during work hours. I mean, if some offices want theirs cleaned, I don't know, how much cleaning is each office doing?
How often do they go in and like vacuum in our office or vacuum in your office? It's not every day, is it?
I think for the most part it is daily.
I'm told it's checked daily, and if it needs to be vacuumed, they vacuum it. I don't know.
I can't imagine that it would be me doing it daily, but.
It depends on who's in here for the board meeting. how
Sure,
many their boots
yeah,
are.
well,
That's
yeah.
usually My call, so, yeah.
As an example, our office, we're only employees of the auditor's office have access to our office because of election security and such. So our office does not get vacuum daily. We either do it ourselves or we do contact Mike or whoever to come.
Well, and that's my whole
Yeah.
point is when this whole COVID thing started 2 years ago, we were cleaning our office for that reason. We didn't want other people in there. You didn't want other people in there and it was a duty per half hour a day, 5 people or an hour a week or whatever it is.
We need to be able to, I'm not saying desks, desks are a whole different situation, but we have on top of cabinets and things like that that need to be cleaned. I mean, we can write our name. And that's not disrespectful to anybody. That is not.
Just happens, yeah.
And I will go back to the days when we had a cleaning person. And he would coordinate with every single office. They would they would come in every night, they would mop the floors, they would do the vacuuming, but they would coordinate with Martha at the time and say, when would you like me to come in and clean your desks? And I don't know if you had that sense, but that seemed to work then. Where they could go to the individual departments and say, when would you like your desks cleaned? You know, maybe it's one of those things where we don't set the hours right now, put the application out there and see who's interested in the position, what hours they might be available. Maybe it will
Well,
be
and that's,
fluctuating.
and I think you leave that option available, and then I think the new person needs to coordinate with each office too.
And maybe it's better 2 to 6
Yeah,
instead of 5:30 to
Maybe.
9:30. You know, so you have a little bit of both, you know.
I mean, get a little bit of information or, you know, you talk back and forth, that this is what we'd like to have done, or, you know.
I think part of the, in my opinion, in visiting with Mike that is retiring, vacuuming is a big deal. You could spend 20 hours a week just vacuuming.
Huh.
That means then that there's no bathroom cleaning, there's no dusting of the,
Are we vacuuming the hard floors or just carpet?
they run
But they run the,
Dust mop thing.
the sweep,
yeah, they mop it every day and they run the buffer.
Yeah.
Every day?
Mhm,
Mhm.
Really? In the hall?
mhm.
And we have had that conversation before, and they do think that is a need to do that daily.
Especially in the winter.
Yeah,
It's
I
really
can definitely
fast.
see it in there.
Well, I do actually think that that part-time thing still actually would work for us, but I think there's gonna be some responsibility on each department head too. Or departments, I say, to do some of their personal stuff. Like you say, the overlap stuff they can clean, but, you know, personal items and desks.
A huge amount of dust was created with our wiring project.
Mhm.
We did, right?
So do
Yeah.
we need a one-time? swoosh?
Well, we need something because they did the best that they could do. I'm not complaining. Obviously, our wiring project got completed last week. We are done with that. I know I got an email from Bjorn at 3 o'clock in the morning, so, you know, the guys were here, they, you know, but
You did that on
that
purpose,
project
I
now
think.
is complete, but there is a significant, there's a significant amount of debris still remaining that needs to be cleaned up. So yes, I mean, we probably have a little bit of, we need some deep cleaning, and then once that gets done, then we need some daily maintenance, but, you know, I think we have to decide what we want this new person to do. Because if all this person is gonna do is vacuum, that's probably not gonna work.
Whoever's here the most, or you guys are here every day, I think that I'm not here
Yeah.
every day all day long, so I mean, that you guys gotta know what we need. I mean, if you think we need somebody full-time, that's a whole nother conversation. You know,
Maybe it's a 30-hour week position, I don't know. I mean, we have not had a physical person that just cleaned. When we had a cleaning person before, they tag teamed in the morning and Mike did all the floors. This person did deep cleaning. So that was the bathrooms and all those kind
I
of things.
don't,
where now we
I don't
have someone
expect
here
a
and
new
there
person to
doing
be
that.
out here like Mike was painting.
And I don't think that's what we don't want
No,
that.
and
We
mowing
want
the
a
grass
cleaning
and trimming, that we got personnel for that.
I agree with that.
And Mark would still be here in the evening to empty waste baskets and
He comes 3 to 6.
3 to 6.
And as far as supervision over him? I mean, he's kind of on his own, or does he get orders or?
I'd say he's on his own.
He's kind of on his own. I'm his main contact just by default. They do leave notes back and forth in the maintenance department for something specific or if one needs something.
So if somebody wants specific done that you could contact, or you could talk to Mark.
He doesn't, he only does the restrooms, the garbage and the recyclables. So he's not going to be one to go into the office and clean
No,
desktops and those kind of things.
I honestly, it is what it is. I don't care. If the wishes of the board and everybody else is 5:30 to 9:30.
Well, let's leave that option, the hourly hours
Yeah.
open, you know, I don't know that. it
I
makes a
think the
difference.
hours would be negotiable.
Yeah, I mean, you might get a whole different,
I can see the 2 to 6 working too. I mean, if they're here.
Yeah.
And if you need something done in the office, somebody's here for that time too. They can go in and do something.
The problem is that Marty and Mike leave at 2:00.
Oh,
Wasn't last week, it was the week before. We had water on the floor. So I went and cleaned it up. So we don't have any coverage. I mean, so someone came, talked to me about it, and I had to go clean it up. I mean, so we have no coverage. We have 3 people covering in the morning. We have, you
so
know.
the afternoon probably does. work
And
better.
you know what? Honestly, the auditor's office, we've salted sidewalks, when it comes to the winter time, you know, I mean,
Yeah, you just need to, you just go do it, yeah.
And that would be the downfall to that person being here in the afternoon is they're gonna turn into that custodian in the afternoon. They're not gonna be cleaning during those winter months. You know, we used to have a full-time person that came in the morning, split shift and came in the afternoon when Frank was here. That worked. I don't know now that we have full-time maintenance, full-time custodian. We have Mark in the afternoon. Is it another full-time position? I don't know. But that meets the needs of the hours, it sounds like. It could be one of those things where it's flexibility within every day. You know, maybe they're here this morning and maybe they're here tomorrow afternoon, or maybe that just needs to be coordinated after we.
I don't know what you get for applicants and I would
think
keep the hours flexible, yeah.
the hours have to be flexible. Try it, and if it doesn't work, then try something different.
Sure.
So they'd have to know up front that this might not be their permanent hours, that may be adjusted according to the needs in the courthouse.
We can certainly see what we get, you know,
Yeah.
maybe that's a preference to somebody too, yeah.
so is it the wishes of the board then for say 20 hours a week or?
I would say to start, yeah.
That's what it is now.
I still just think it's still the little responsibility of each or your own. I mean, do you take the time to wipe your desk down once in a while or the windowsill or no?
I do all my own, yeah. I only have them come in
Or
vacuum.
does other offices do that? You don't have time to do that or what's the?
I
It takes
usually,
an hour to dust it.
I usually wipe
do it
my
when I
own
can.
desk.
Huh?
I mean, the thing is, that was the whole purpose 2 years ago that we did that for a reason and we took the extra half hour. Do we go back to that? Does that do any good?
My half hour went into sanitizing chairs and tables.
Yeah.
Not dusting. That takes
Okay.
another hour a week if I do everything. And then more surfaces than you think when you first look at it, so.
Do you have enough information?
I do. How do you feel about the 14 to 15.50 for the rate of pay?
That's fine.
Yeah, I mean.
You want to get
Things
somebody
have changed.
that's that'll do the job and is capable of doing the job.
20 hours a week. Okay. Got it.
And if it comes to the point, we all think we need a one-time sweep of the whole place, let's have a professional do it, and they wanna do it when you're here or not here, or whatever you wanna do, we'll sweep it.
And maybe that would be a good starting point before we.
You
hire
know,
somebody
so
that's
it's
gonna
clean
have
before they
something.
start, yeah, I don't know, I mean,
Yeah.
it's one of them things that falls in that category too, that of the ARP stuff, you know, that's the whole idea, was to keep separation and keep things clean, you know.
Mhm. Yeah. So a motion to approve advertising for a custodial office cleaner with a pay grade set between 14 and 15.50 per hour for 20 hours per week.
Motion to approve.
Second. I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion carried.
That's all I had for the board, until we are in work sessions later, whenever that is. I don't know what kind of schedule you're on right now.
What was that, 10:30?
Okay,
What do we
are
do
we gonna
about-
take any action in the personnel meeting?
No.
What's that?
Okay.
No.
If there's no further business, the motion to adjourn would be in order.
So moved.
What about the Sebula?
It's been taken care of.
Been taken care of.
It's going to be taken care of. You mean the cleaning and the,
No, I mean about.
well, it's
selling
not presentable right now.
it. Okay.
We couldn't begin
That's,
to.
you can't show it the way it is, and I went through it myself, and I mean, I'd like another opinion. I stopped at the zoning and see what we own down there.
Okay.
And the building itself has been vacant for 2 years. And it needs some attention.
All right, sounds good.
So he'll,
I would second
but
that.
you can also let your customer or client know there that he certainly will be advised before anything happens. You will have an option like everyone else.
I'll do that.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right.
Aye.